And now, World Improv Network proudly presents Community Court.
When two parties cannot solve a dispute, community court is there to solve the problem, see?
All rise for the most honorable Judge Kenneth Vicarro.
All right. Rise and shine. Junior's just waking up from his nap, and I think it's because, Cliff, you can't fall asleep on me now, buddy.
Oh, nope. That was a security yawn, Your Honor.
All right, yeah. Yeah, it's good to have you back in the courtroom.
Oh, good to be back. Long vacation.
Yeah,
Vacation.
Junior and I missed you. Junior especially, I've been changing his diapers, and apparently I ain't doing it right.
Well, I didn't miss him, I'll tell you that.
I would trade my life with someone. Anyway, we got a doozy of a... I don't think you really heard me, Junior. Hey, we got a something. I was appalled. Honestly, like when I first heard this.
Are we ever going to actually get to the case, Your Honor?
Wow.
Or are you just going to run through preamble?
Wow. This guy is just in a big hurry, isn't he? Wow.
Well, I mean,
No, I'm sorry. You have somewhere to be this afternoon?
Well, I just don't think this should take all day. It seems like a pretty open and shut case to me.
Tell me, Mr. Time Watcher guy. What? How many minutes in the day are there? What universe are you in where a whole day is composed of 5 minutes?
There are 7,800 minutes in a day.
All right, I believe that. Sounds like a probable number.
Yeah, it's close.
So
But yeah, I don't want to waste all of them here, listening to you flap your gums.
All right,
Judge, I wouldn't take this from this man. Okay, he's disrespected you from the time he's walked into the courtroom here. That's the same problem he had in the hospital.
No, it's, I understand this is a stressful situation. Nobody wants to come to court. I see a lot of frowny faces, but I think we can try and have some fun. Huh?
Fun? Okay.
Can we just say, hey, let's give it a shot?
Sure, let's give it a shot.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Junior, you're
No
going to
pun
give
intended.
it. Don't bring that poopy attitude in this courtroom, Junior. All right, here we go. So, Mr. Miller, Mr. Daniel Hertzovitz Miller, all right?
Yes?
You, why are we here? Why did you summon this complaint?
Well, I am suing the hospital,
St. Righteous.
Yes, St. Righteous Hospital, because I went to their emergency room, which is in my insurance network, and I spent 72 hours waiting to be treated.
Woo! See, that was the part I was appalled by. 72 hours, and this was the emergency room?
Yes, and it was an emergency.
Yes, Your Honor, first of all, I'm going to start off with the new ACA, the Affordable Care Act.
And I just want to make sure that everybody in the room knows you're Victor Hansley. You're the director of patient relations at St. Righteous.
That's correct, yes. And first of all, I want to say with the new Affordable Care Act, that kicked in on the January 1st was mandatory before you got penalized. It becomes like cafeteria-style care now. So it's first come, first serve. Yes, he got shot 4 times in the leg, but, he was late. So we had to wait around a little bit.
What?
So
Well,
you're
how
saying-
could I be late for an emergency room? You just show up.
Well, that's a great question, Mr. Hansley. How can you be late at an emergency? It's an emergency, right?
That's correct. It's kind of like a cafeteria, right? So the ambulance pulls in, no different than a food tray, gets put in front of you.
All right, so ambulance in this metaphor is a food
I
tray.
am not food, sir.
And that's right, you were not, because you walked in on your own volition. Therefore, you weren't in high priority. You weren't the food tray.
Well,
you went back in the line to pick out your items.
And you could still be food, but like if you were the baked beans, like you voluntarily got out of the pot and hopped onto the tray.
Yes, and Mr. Hertzovitz, he actually smelled kind of like steak because the gunshot wounds burnt his flesh. Smelled pretty good when he came in.
No, Junior, not funny.
I am just insulted by this. I'm more than a piece of meat, sir.
Well, technically, we are just all meat, but proteins never lost or gained when people die.
That's coming from a guy that works at a hospital.
We are mostly soul, and that makes us transcend meat. It makes us more than just a bag of organs
All
meant
right.
to sit in your waiting room for 72 hours.
Mr. Hertzovitz Miller, what were you there for? What was the emergency, and how were you
I had
able?
been shot 4 times in my leg.
Tell him how you got shot.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Tell us what happened.
what's the whole story?
Well, I was setting up a Rube Goldberg device like I like to do in my free time.
That's like one of those perpetual motion.
No, it's like where a ball runs down a gutter and then it falls and hits a hammer,
Oh,
which lights a
Mousetrap?
match. Yes, very similar.
Junior and I love Mousetrap. It's our favorite
Technically,
game.
they're called Rube Goldberg devices,
Oh, that's
named
not-
after Saint Rube Goldberg.
Well, not as catchy as Mousetrap.
So tell the rest of the story.
So I was just setting up a Rube Goldberg device like I like to do. And at the end of it, this one was going to fire an AK-47 into a watermelon. Now,
That was the conclusion
yeah,
of the
that was the
Mousetrap?
point of the device. But it was going to shoot a happy face into it.
I just really quickly, I'm gonna assume you have a permit for or some kind of legal exception for having an AK-47.
I'm pretty sure you don't need one of those.
No, all right. You know, it's not my jurisdiction. So
Mine was approved for children 5 and up, so I think it's safe.
all right.
So I had set up my device and I was all ready, and then a gust of wind blew. I had the AK-47 attached to one of those wind chickens that you see above barns, and a gust of wind blew, and it turned the gun, and just as the mousetrap flipped and knocked the cheese into the trigger, it fired right into my leg, 4 shots.
It was kind
Ooh.
of funny, Yana, when he came in, he saw a happy face in his thigh. It was great. It's hilarious. And it smelled like steak.
I mean, I was
See?
glad the device succeeded, but it was still very painful.
Well, how were you able? What did you do during those 72 hours? I mean, how were you able to? Were you receiving any assistance?
Starbucks. We gave him a lot of Starbucks.
Yes, they did give me Starbucks, and they gave me those little wooden peg games like you play at a Cracker Barrel. They gave me as many of those as I could solve.
And when you say Starbucks, I know, Junior, I can't believe that they're serving that coffee, right? When you say Starbucks, you're talking about not just the coffee, but like the sandwiches and the little yogurt things?
Yes, he had the salad. He had the breakfast sandwiches. We gave him cappuccinos, frappuccinos, all of it. Over 72 hours, he consumed $700 for Starbucks.
It was all I could do. At the rate I was losing blood, I needed to refuel.
How many, during those 72 hours, Mr. Hansley, how many patients were going in and out of the emergency room?
Approximately, I looked at the medical logs here. Let me look at it again. It's 847 patients.
847? Whoa.
Yeah, not one of them was me.
And why was that? Why was Mr. Hertzovitz Miller made to wait?
Well, you've got to look at him. First, like I said before, right? It's like
Gotta
the
look at him? All right,
Yeah,
what are you
the-
getting at?
Well, the cafeteria, right? The ambulance brings it in. That's first come, first serve, high priority.
I
He
took
walked-
care of myself.
Yes, he walked in, and when he looked down and he sat down, he had a smiley face in his quad, so it looked like he was happy. We didn't think there was no problems.
Why are you looking at my quads and, frankly, probably my crotch area to see if I'm happy?
Because
Look
it
at my
smelled-
face, sir.
Because it smelled like a prime rib, and I was hungry.
Do you see what I'm dealing with, Your Honor? These people are not committed. You took a Hippocratic oath, sir.
I'm not a hypocrite. I'm a doctor.
Right. No, what was it?
Hippocratic oath.
Hippocratic.
Why would you call me a hippo? I'm
No,
not fat. I'm
why-
skinny.
No, it's like a promise, right? Like,
At the end of medical school, all doctors have to take the Hippocratic oath, where they put their hand on top of a staff with 2 snakes in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was stoned.
excuse me?
Nothing. What's important here is the case, Your Honor.
Yeah, I thought we were. right.
Objection
Yeah. What are you objecting?
to him not remembering what he just said.
And I think this brings up a really legitimate point. You have forgotten more than a sentence or two. You've forgotten about an entire human being. Now,
Yeah.
a human being that looks and smells like steak, I'll grant you that. All right. But nonetheless, it's a person. Can we agree on that, Mr. Hansley?
Sir,
Correct.
sir,
Until he dies, then he's just a pile of protein.
Right.
Like
and
a steak.
oh, yeah, sure. And we'll grill him and
Excuse me?
make kebabs and all that stuff.
Oh, he'd be a great kebab. You can see the little muffin top you have over your.
No, hey, will you two stop?
Yeah, just
looking at me?
like with your frame and whatnot.
Boy, I
So-
just want to lather you in barbecue sauce.
All right, Cliff. Keep your hands in your pockets.
Sorry.
Junior's already ahead of the eating process. You just skip to the exit. All right. Well, my ruling is put another layer of marinade on this guy and call it a day.
Stay tuned for Talking Points with Shabazz Davis. And make sure to give the Windcast your suggestions during the break on what topic Shabazz should swing a bat at. Next on Mile High Sports Radio.